Hello, my name is Greg Barron. I would like to welcome you to episode 12 of the Follow the Leader video podcast. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. It's been frankly, it's been a rough 2 months, but everything has worked out well. I'm feeling better. Everything I had checked out came out to be normal. Hooray! And so the old man, or whether you know me as the kid, is doing just fine. Tonight or today's episode is managing risk. Managing risk, it seems appropriate. Full disclosure, you guys know that I have a world full of health problems to take care of. But as long as I take care of them, everything's going to go along just fine. I do what the doctors say, follow their instructions, pop all the pills, go to all the treatments. And it all seems to be working out. So I am managing the risks that I'm facing here in my adult life. And I think I'm doing okay at the tender age of about to be 57. But there was a time in my life when I didn't have a good head for risk. When I was a kid, risk just seemed like adventure, no matter what the risk was. Now, I was surrounded on all sides by family of one type or another. So there weren't a lot of risky things that I could do or get into. I had to be a good kid. But I would sneak and I would do things. I told y'all this before, I'm sorry. I would sneak and I would try things and do things that I thought were exciting or interesting when I felt like people weren't looking. Okay. The window at the back of our house facing the backyard was at the sink. Mom in the kitchen doing her thing. Every now and then, of course, she would look out the window to see what baby boy was getting into. On one side, we have my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. She watched from her perch in her kitchen. And then on the other side, we have my cousin, Ernestine, everybody called her Sistine, and she might as well have been another mama for me. As much as I loved her and she loved me, and I had to do what she said, just like everybody else that kept an eye on me. Now you would say, what a great environment to bring a child up in. Yes, but it wasn't exciting. And at the tender age of, how old was I? Let me get this right now. At the tender age of 8, I decided to try to make my life more exciting. My father had gone to work, and my brother had gone somewhere. You know, my brother was another voice of reason in my life. And he was going to, he'd gone off on some venture of his own. And I was watching TV, and I saw a TV show about Evil Knievel. It was either Evil Knievel or some other stunt guy. And I said, that's interesting. I thought, what if I could do a trick like that with my bicycle? Before I knew it, I had fixed up a ramp on the side of 2 sawhorses. And I was going to ride at them at top speed, and I was going to see if I could jump over them. Had no idea what the landing was going to be like. Now, people who were fixing dinner or taking care of other family members or talking on the phone had no clue what I was up to. And I rode far enough away from it, and I came barreling in at the top speed. And my father just happened to turn into the driveway. He saw what I was doing. He whamped on the horn. And I knew the horn of our car. I stopped. And I thought it was going to be, sheer violence. I thought Dad was going to erupt into a hurricane of corporal punishment. And no. It scared him so much that he walked me over to the back porch and sat down. And he said, boy, you can't do things like that. And I sat there looking at him. I nodded my head. He said, no, boy, seriously. You could have hurt yourself. Do you understand? And so we had a long talk about that sort of thing. And he made it clear to me that, he wasn't going to let me out of the house if he couldn't trust me not to kill myself. So That's how we settle risk. That's another way to settle risk is to have the powers that be come down on you and stop you from assuming risk. But if you're an adult, young adult, not so young adult, you don't want that to happen. You don't want the authorities to have to put their foot down on you to get you to stop from doing something risky. What you have to be able to do is you have to be able to assess risk and understand it and know it for what it is and know what are you risking, how much are you risking, and why, for what. Do you have to? What are you getting out of it? Is what you're risking equal to the reward? And then once you've done that evaluation, you know what the rest should be. You know if you should participate. The rest is simple. That doesn't guarantee that you're not going to lose or that things aren't going to go wrong. But you try to manage the risk and you try to parcel it out and separate it in ways where it can be addressed, where you plan for what might go wrong, you prepare for what might go wrong, and then you go out and you take the risk if you decide that it's for you. Very simple. We'll talk more about risk in days to come, and we will help you understand that risk is an important part of getting ahead. If you want to get ahead, you got to risk something. You have to put something on the table because the rewards are so great. I mean, you can just keep your money in your pocket, but it's not doing anything for you unless you put it in the bank. It will you will gain something, but you get more if you invest it. And that carries a little bit of risk, but it also carries a greater reward. So things to think about. Risk is not necessarily a bad thing. Risk is something that you can manage and profit from if you learn about it and understand exactly what it is you're doing. What are you undertaking? What are you trying to make happen, and is it worth doing? Thank you for listening to episode 12 of the Follow the Leader video podcast. Once again, I'm Greg Barron, and you can reach me through my Gregory A. Barron Foundation at the email address gabfinc@aol.com. That's GABFINC@aol.com. Stands for the Gregory A. Barron Foundation Incorporated at AOL.com. So, reach out to me, talk to me, have some ideas about the show, have ideas about risk in general or about other topics, or if you just have questions about your own issues, your own situations, please don't hesitate to reach out. I want to thank you, and there's more to come. Take care. Have a wonderful day.
Viewfinder. Image. Stop recording.